Hello everyone to another video, and in this one I'll be taking a look at the Odyssey from SeeedStudio. This particular one is the Odyssey X96J4125. The X86 implies of course that it's an X86 box, and the J4125 implies the Celeron J4125 sock that's in there. And we're going to do a whole hardware teardown. I don't know if I'll go into software in this particular video, but everything's very interesting on this board. And yeah, so the story behind this is SeeedStudio didn't send this to me. I didn't buy it. It's for a work project that I can't really talk about right now, but it's also a very nice device I wanted to show everyone. So this is the box it comes in. So it's a big blue box with some art on the side. My camera's not really angled properly or focused properly for this. I just use fixed focus. So let's go through the basic hardware layout. We'll go through what's inside the window later. This is an entire metal case. The back is plastic, but this seems to be nice metal blue. The top's glass. On the back side, or this is technically the back side, you have the DC jack in, you have the power button, you have the 2 gigabit LAN port, 1 HDMI and 2 USB 2. On what I assume is the front, you have a micro SD card slot, a USB 3 port, a Type C port, and an audio jack. I'm not sure if the Type C does display, but that's something we will see later. I think the Type C is like proper USB 3 Type C. Now to get inside to a point, not completely opening it up, but just to have access to the front of the device, there's a little silver plug down there. So you push that up, and the glass is held by metallic strips or circles or whatever, and they come out. So something like that, and you can see the 3 and now actually 4 metallic bits that are glued onto the glass. As you can see, one got out, so I'm not sure about that design choice in particular, but yeah, I haven't opened it that much, so it's a bit concerning that they are they sort of detach so easily. So I'll try and fix that back up. I have super glue right here. Actually, you know what? I'll do that right now. There you go. Now we'll just let that cure for a bit. Alright, this is the inside. Pretty fancy. So you get this as a kit. So it's all pre-assembled, all set up. You don't have to configure anything on the hardware side. Even the M.2 SSD is there. So this is an M.2 SATA SSD, but both of these slots, so there's one slot here and one slot there, can take NVMe. And these are this one's PCIe. I think there's alright. So this one's only SATA. I looked it up again. I can see the notch there. So this one's only SATA. That's my bad. So I'll open this up and I'll show you another configuration that's possible. But surprise, surprise, there's an actual Intel Wi-Fi chip. So I'm actually pretty excited about that. It's now Realtek or Broadcom or some of the other generic ones that are not that good. Intel has had pretty good repo in terms of their firmware and the performance on the Wi-Fi side, so I'm quite happy about that. So just as a first look, let me take this out, and you'll see there's one more configuration possibility that shows itself. So the SSD can be taken out like that, and here you go. You can see these pads here. and that is for an eMMC. So you can have it configured with an eMMC, and in that case you should, I'm not sure how they are configuring it, but you should actually get the ability to do OS on the eMMC and then still have 2 extra storage slots. At least I hope so. I haven't looked that in that much detail. Apart from that, you have your SATA transceivers, a few GPIOs. I'll talk about these later, and then a physical setup block and HDD power header, I think. So HDD power 1 and power 2 pins. I'm not sure what they are supposed to do. Probably LEDs. You can see they have like grommets, rubber grommets here that go through. I'm not sure why they didn't like route the LEDs and have it go through there. That could have been a good idea, but okay. Maybe it's not HDD power 1, power 2. It's actually external power port. So I think I have one of those cables that can fit in here and provide power to the SATA DOM, if you have DOMs, or just another SATA SSD. So I might be wrong about the LED stuff. These GPIOs, so this thing has a Atmel 8 SAMD21 in it, and that's a Cortex M0 if I remember correctly, MCU, and it has its own header. The GPIOs are directly connected to the SoC, have their own header. They are very configurable. I think they are on the Raspberry Pi header layout, but they are extremely configurable. I'll talk about that in a bit. But for now, I will put that back in, and we'll continue to open this thing up till we get to the SoC and the MCU. So on the top of the PCB, I don't think there's much to see. There's like a HDMI 5 chip or something else doing something with the HDMI, maybe. There's definitely a USB Type-C controller chip there. Again, I wonder if that chip can handle DisplayPort and power. That would be nice. And that's about it for the front. So now to open it from the back, you have to undo these four. Oh, those are powerful magnets. You have to undo these 4 screws. Alright, so that should get the back off like so, and that's your big old heatsink for the Celeron processor. And let's see, nothing else sticking here. So here's a large fan. This keeps spinning. The CPU does get fairly hot. When I was testing some things, the fan did ramp up to 2000 RPM and it was continuously spinning. The CPU wasn't touching like 80s, but it was still in the 60s and the 70s. So yeah, that's a thing that you need to take care of. So let's take this out. Let's take a look at the actual SoC, or let's take the entire board out. That might be a better idea. And with that, it should just come out. So this is your bare minimum SBC. That's your thing. That's the entire deal. I wonder if I can just put this thing on, say, like a ice block, and we'll just gel it directly. Let's open it up, see if we have any other surprises in there. So that comes off easily. The thermal paste is kind of all over the place, and there's nothing on the SK Hynix RAM chips. So this is where all the fun stuff is. Obviously your fan header and your main Celeron CPU. That's your soldered memory, so it's 8 gigs or 4 gigs per chip. I'm guessing that's the IT E1 is the South Bridge controller, for better or for worse. I mean, it's a SOC, so it should have most interfaces, but maybe for SATA or something else. You have your Realtek LAN chip, one of them, or it's a dual gigabit LAN chip, but could be a combined one. It is a LAN chip, right? Or am I missing something? No, the LAN's right here. What's that Realtek chip? I have no clue what that one is. Maybe audio. Yeah, that's audio. That's not LAN. So we have our LAN chips right there. Is this the MCU? Yep, that's the Atmel SAMD21. So you can see the SAMD21 has the GPIOs directly connected to it. You can see the traces maybe going directly to it, but for the SOC GPIO, we have these three chips right there, and they are most probably doing 1.8 to 3.3 volt level translation onto the Pi header GPIO. So you are not getting direct. I mean, it's the SOCs directly connected, but it's through these level shifters. This is your entire power block to power the CPU and peripherals and everything else. And that's about it. That's what there is. I guess this is a USB chip. Considering the USBs here, could be something else. I might be missing out. There's a SATA port here as well. What else? Yeah, I'm not saying much more. So I guess that's it. That's the entire board. Let's clean up the sock. Take a look at it, repaste it with something a bit better. It's not dry. No, it's not dry. It's just weird. You can see how the colors sort of darkened on that area. So I'm not sure why that's happening. So yeah, let's repaste this. So I'm kind of sad. I've washed up all the goop as much as I could, and the silicon's not marked. Yeah, I would have been a bit more excited if Intel would have marked this one, but they haven't. So the images won't be too pretty for Twitter, but I guess this is what it is. Alright, let's repaste it. I have some Noctua NTH1 on hand, and that should do fine. Just a tiny little pod because it's a very small sock. It should be more than enough. It might be too much. It was already so bad. Alright, so let's put this back on. I'm wondering if I should have thermal pads for the memory. That is DDR4. And yeah, probably not. If they don't have it, I don't think that's much of an issue. So alright, let me align this and I will get back. Alright, so that's all packed up. So we saw pretty much everything there was to see, and I will put that back now. Alright, so on the inside you can see there is some screw layout. I'm guessing you can. Yeah, I really don't know why all of these screw holes are. I cannot figure it out. Maybe it's some kind of a mount if you want. Yeah, they're just these extra screw holes that don't make any sense to me. Maybe they share this with some other board as well. Put that one there, flip it. Alright, so that's it. Think the that's stuck, and I can close this off. I wish they would have made better channels for the antenna within the case, so that you can get solid antennas to put somewhere. You have extra space here or something else. Not sure how well if they work. If I'll just stick them to, or I can stick them to the top of the case that's not metallic. But yeah, that's about it. That's the Odyssey X86. There are a couple other versions. There's the J4125, the one I have. There's a lower spec version as well, and both of those should be fine. Okay, I'm not sure why this isn't fitting. Maybe there's a specific way it goes in. Or wait, that's resin. Yeah, there you go. Whoops, still not going in. So on. Okay. Yep, there we go. So that's the hardware overview. The UEFI bias menus are very interesting. So that's definitely something I'll show you in the next video. It has a lot of configurations. You can configure individual GPIOs for the RPI header. For PCI Express, there are a ton of configuration, which I hope like even half of the x86 SBCs and even some motherboards have, but this one has a lot of configuration. For a couple other things as well, it's a fairly detailed BIOS menu, or UEFI menu, from my previous experiences. So I'm excited about that. Oh, I just noticed it actually has rubber feet on one side, so I can prop it up like that. So that's nice as well. Alright, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. We'll see when that happens. Bye.